Hello everyone, myself Dr. NITU Agarwal, Professor, Department of Management, Tecnia Institute of Advanced Studies. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on basics of financial management. First, we are discussing about what is financial management. Financial management refers to the efficient and effective management of money in such a manner as to accomplish the objective of the organization. It is the specialized function directly associated with the top management. There are four essential areas of financial management. First, overall business management, that is production, finance, personnel and marketing. Number two, rational use of capital resources, that is proper allocation and utilization of funds. Third, careful selection of resources of capital out of so many resources available in the market. Number four, operations are conducted in such a way that profit or wealth is maximized. Now we are discussing about the objectives. There are two types of objectives. One is profit maximization and the second one is wealth maximization. First we are discussing about the profit maximization. The term profit maximization is deep rooted in the economic theory. It is neat that when firms pursue the policy of maximization profits, society resources are efficiently utilized. The firm should undertake those actions that would profit and drop those actions that would decrease profit. The financial decisions should be orientated to the maximization of profit. Profit provides the yardstick for measuring performance of firms. It makes allocation of resources to profitable and desirable areas. It also ensures maximum social welfare. Now we are discussing about wealth maximization. What is wealth maximization? Wealth maximization or net present value maximization provides an appropriate and operationally feasible decision creation for financial management decisions. It considers time value of money, which is ignored in profit maximization goal. It considers risk or uncertainty by discounting the future cash flows at an appropriate discount rate. Now we are discussing about the scope of financial management. The scope of financial management is classified in two categories. One is traditional approach and second is modern approach. What is traditional approach? We are discussing first. Traditional approach. According to this approach, the scope of finance function is restricted to procurement of funds by corporate enterprise to meet their financial needs. The term procurement refers to the raising of funds externally as well as the internal related aspects of raising funds. The interrelated aspects are institutional arrangement of finance, financial instruments, though which funds are raised and legal accounting aspects between the firms and its sources of funds. In traditional approach, the sources could be raised from the combination of the available sources. Now we are discussing about the limitations of traditional approach. This approach is confined to procurement of funds only. It fails to consider an important aspect, that is allocation of funds, which is very important in financial aspects. It deals with only outside, that is investors, investment bankers, etc. The internal decision making are completely ignored in this approach. The traditional approach fails to consider the problem involved in working capital management. The traditional approach neglected the issues relating to the allocation and management of funds and failed to make financial decisions. Now we are discussing about the modern approach. The modern approach is an analytical way of looking into financial problems of the firm. According to this approach, the finance function covers both acquisitions of funds as well as the allocation of funds to various uses. Financial management is concerned with the issues involved in raising of funds and efficient and wise allocation of funds. How large should an enterprise be and how far it should grow? In what form should it hold its assets? How should the firm acquire the raised? Financial management is concerned with finding answers to all above the problems. Financial areas of management now we are discussing. First, determining financial needs. selecting the sources of funds, financial analysis and interpretation, cost volume profit analysis, capital budgeting, working of capital management, profit planning and control, and dividend policy. We are discussing all these topics and different chapters. Functions of financial management now we are discussing. There are three main functions of financial management. First, investment decision, second, finance decision, and third is dividend decisions. First, we are discussing about investment decisions. Investment decisions related to sections of assets in which funds will invest by a firm. The assets that can be acquired by a firm may be long-term assets and short-term assets. Decision with regarding of long-term assets is called capital budgeting. Decisions with regarding of short-term or current assets is called working capital management. Now we are discussing the second point, finance decisions. Determination of the proportion of equity and debt is the main issue of financing decisions. Once the best combination of debt and equity is determined, the next step is raising appropriate amount through available sources. Financing decisions is concerned with the financing mix or capital structure. The mix of debt and equity is known as capital structure. Now we are discussing the third point is dividend decisions. Dividend decisions has a strong influence on the market price of the shares. So, the dividend policy is to be determined in terms of its impact on shareholders' value. The optimum dividend policy is one which maximizes the value of shares and wealth of the shareholders. The finance manager should determine the optimum payout ratio, that is, the proportions of net profit to be paid out to the shareholders. The above three decisions are interrelated with each other. To an optimum financial decisions, the three should be taken jointly. Now we are discussing about the source of finance. In our present day economy, finance is defined as the provision of money at the time when it is required. Every enterprise, whether big or medium or small, needs finance to carry on its operations and to achieve its targets. In fact, finance is so indispensable today that is rightly said that it is the lifeblood of enterprise. Without adequate finance, no enterprise can possibly accomplish its objectives. In every concern, there are two methods of raising finance, that is raising of owned capital and raising of borrowed capital. Now we are discussing the sources of finance fund. Now we are discussing about the finance requirements. Finance requirements are categorized into three categories: short term, medium term and long term. In short term, we required bank credit, customer advances and trade credit. In medium term, we required issue of debentures, issue of preference shares, bank loan, public deposits or FDs, loans from financial institutions. Long term, third is long term. We are required issue of shares, issue of debentures, blocking back of profit and loans from financial and special financial institutions. So, I hope you all understand about the basics of financial management. Thank you.